My name is Anh-Tho. Today we are going to discuss about the question of change. How does learning on one's culture benefit intercultural knowledge circulation? The case of Vietnam Hoc project by myself. Coping with change, the case of Vietnam. This reflection is about the causes and effects of change in terms of tradition, values, beliefs, spirituality, and ethics in the modernization process of Vietnam during the 20th century and how the Vietnamese cope with these changes. The Vietnam Hoc project showcases different steps of my research in identifying the dynamics of change that affect not only Vietnamese but the rest of humanity facing globalization. Impacts of change. I identified that the impacts of change can be on personal transformation, on social transformation, or on international integration process. These impacts can be internal due to culture, language, society, education, family values, jobs and standards of living, or external through war, migration, environmental challenges, and globalization. Who will benefit from this research? The Vietnam Hoc Institute learning resources are useful to teachers who are interested in Vietnamese language and culture, students who wish to learn about one's own cultural identity, global citizens who are engaged in intercultural interactions with business or social partners from East and Southeast Asia. What are the objectives, the action plan, and outputs of this research? The research objectives is to establish criteria for a values-based education by reviving Vietnamese spiritual and ethical values for harmony and peace, integrate the diaspora Vietnamese scholars to the mainstream education inside Vietnam, and promote the Vietnamese spirit to wider international circle. Action plan consists of setting up a Vietnam Hoc Research Institute, provide a global discussion forum, and build a Vietnamese ethics collection on contextual ethics. In terms of objective, there are four. Number one, establish criteria for value-based education applied to the Vietnamese context, revive Vietnamese spiritual and ethical values for harmony and peace, integrate the Vietnamese diaspora scholars to the mainstream education in Vietnam, and promote the Vietnamese spirit to wider international circle. Through the series of publication Why Ethics Matter, I give voice to teachers to bridge the gap between North and South, East and West, in and outside Vietnam. Through the Vietnamese perspectives on values and ethics, my encounters and journey to inner peace and harmony in Vietnam Ethics Series, Volume Number 3. In terms of action plan, I set up a Vietnam Hoc Institute reflecting on Vietnamese spiritual and ethical values in the context of change, build a global network of Vietnam experts, including the Vietnamese diaspora and international experts, and provide a global discussion forum to promote the Vietnamese spirit to the international arena. Through my publications, I presented my reflections on change in the Volume 2 of Vietnam Ethics Series and the Vietnamese perspective on Vietnam's integration in the 21st century. In building a forum for exchange, I have benefited or encouraged documentaries, films, articles, books, projects, and the showcase are already accomplished in Rêveur on my integration story to the Swiss environment, Vimeo cases sharing my readings on learning from others, and a blog relating my reflections on coping with intercultural differences. In the Forum of Teachers Bridging the Gap, I gave voices for different teachers inside the country who expressed their needs on cultivating own behavior with Eastern values, enhancing life skills, teaching critical thinking, applying STEM in Vietnam, publishing internationally, and aligning to international standards. Whereas the foreign experts, the international experts, have provided their views with Vietnam and ASEAN Charter, Erasmus and higher education in Vietnam, sustainability, crime prevention through ethics education, audits and transparency for best practice in governance, or preserving traditions and values for the overseas Vietnamese community. In terms of how output, the curriculum, Vietnam Hoc curriculum covers train of teachers for Vietnamese trainers and teachers, language and culture series for Vietnamese learners, and forum exchange between Vietnamese and international experts on ethics education. A catalogue of Vietnam Hoc study program is now working in progress. Here is one example of the Vietnam Hoc catalogue of products produced in 2021. And in terms of services, we provide capacity building, curriculum design, ebook publishing, interpretation, translation and localization, and research and publication. A few words on myself. I had an education in the University of Humanities Studies in Vietnam and graduated in 1979. Got my master's degree with Hull University in the UK in 1996 and a doctorate of business administration with the University of Paris in 2018. Thank you for your attention. Okay.